Hey guys, it's Emma or Sunrise Sims. Welcome back to my channel for another speed build. Today's speed build is like Bohemian styled. I built it for the Bohemian couple that I made on Tuesday. I'll link that in the top right corner in case you haven't seen that video and you'd like to watch it. Pretty cool video if I do say so myself. Yeah, this went well-ish. No, it went well. I feel like I started off very strong. Really like the outside, the exterior of the build, although I noticed in the screenshots that a bit of the roofing at the back looked kind of funny. Sorry about that. You just need to delete that part of the roof and redo it. It shouldn't be too hard to fix if you decide to download this build. Yeah, and I really like the first room. It's not the dining, it's like part of the kitchen. I really like that. That's kind of where I started, and I was like, wow, maybe I can do this boho style thing. But I feel like I did kind of lose the plot towards the end. I don't know, I just maybe I'm being hard on myself, but I don't know if I quite captured the essence of the Bohemian style in the entirety of the house, if that makes sense. But I had a lot of fun doing it. I always have a lot of fun doing this stuff. So yeah, this is like I said, a house for them. So it's got a kitchen, obviously like an offshoot off the kitchen with a dining table, but then also like a dining area as well, like with a bigger table, living area, a laundry room, a half bath downstairs, a garage, a single garage, like a little foyer, whatever you say. And upstairs it's 2 bedrooms, and then like the landing is sort of the study area. So because this house was sort of big enough for there to be 2 bedrooms, and I only made, a couple for the 1 bedroom, I decided to make a baby's room as well, or like a toddler's room, whatever you prefer. And in my head the story is just like either they're, planning to have a baby quite soon and are, very well prepared, or maybe they were pregnant and lost at the baby. You want to have a sad story. And they got everything ready, and then, yeah, I don't know. But there's a baby's room. Yeah, you can decide which story suits you better. There's also, because Florence is a gardener, there's a shed in the back full of custom content gardening equipment that I got from Around the Sims 3. Really love Around the Sims 3, guys. I pretty much have everything available to download is in my game, pretty much. Almost everything. What else can I say? I considered putting in a wine cellar because Sage's Lifetime Wish is a bottomless nectar cellar. So I thought, and I also have some CC from Around the Sims 3 for a wine cellar, but it just seemed too much in the end. So I just put a couple wine racks sort of in the kitchen. But I mean, it would have been cool. Oh, I should say that the stairs are store content, those sort of L-shaped stairs. If you download the house, they're in both the furnished and the unfurnished build. So if you download the house, I'm not sure what's going to happen, how they're going to be replaced, if they're just not going to be stairs there. I'm really sorry. I know I shouldn't be using as much custom content and store content as I do, because I mean, I've checked my Sims file share. People are downloading my stuff, like a little bit. But I do plan on doing a no CC, no store content build eventually on my channel. It's just like, if you watched, I think it was my very first video, I didn't know CC was a thing until like 2 years ago. I've played Sims since Sims 1, and I had no idea that CC existed until about 2 years ago. And I never went on the exchange or anything. And then I was talking to this girl that I worked with who also played Sims, and she was like, yeah, I went on the exchange and I downloaded a Sim from there, and she came with all this new stuff. So I just went mad and I went on the exchange, and there was one specific creator his stuff isn't there anymore. And I just downloaded like all of the Sims that he had put up there, and they just came with tons of custom content. And then somehow I figured out that it was custom content. I think I also downloaded a house at one point, and it came with like a sink and a portrait or a painting or something. And I remember saying to my best friend, I was like, oh my god, like I just downloaded this house, and like store content came with it, because I didn't know that there was stuff out there that people had been creating and putting on the internet for free for years. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't know it was a thing. So I downloaded all this guy's stuff, and then like downloaded it into my game through the launcher, which obviously is a big no-no. And eventually my game started freezing, and then I did a lot of research. Sorry, it annoys me when people say research. I'm South African, I pronounce it research. So I did a lot of research, and then discovered, oh, there was actually this whole world of custom content out there. And then I just thought to myself, like, I can't play this game without having, without experiencing this. And then I didn't play for like 2 years, and I just went through bouts of downloading a ton of CC. So I'd like spend a couple weeks just sitting at the computer in all my free time and downloading a bunch of stuff, and then I wouldn't touch it for months, and then rinse and repeat, and then I think when I discovered CC was also the time I started watching Sims YouTube and stuff, and then it just kind of if both of them evolved sort of parallel of each other, and I started thinking about what I would do if I had a channel. And then I was like watching people build with CC, and I was like, this looks so cool, like I feel like I could do this, but then I didn't want to do it until I had all my CC, and then finally this year I just got around to it, which I'm very happy about. I'm really, really enjoying making these videos and doing these builds, and like I've said a couple times before, I never really built before, and now I'm challenging myself. Every video I feel like is a challenge for me. The apartment build that I did last week, it's not the first build I did on my channel, but it was like the first build of the improved version of the channel, and I challenged myself with something as big as an apartment. I've never made an apartment before, and now I'm challenging myself with this sort of boho style build. And then something I haven't talked about yet, but I wanted the landscaping to be really wild and crazy and jungly, and I feel like I could have gone crazier, but no, I'm terrible at landscaping, so I'm just really enjoying the challenge. I can't remember the point of the story. I think it was just that I'm sorry that I use so much CC. It's just because I'm making up for years of not knowing that CC was a thing. And maybe one day I'll get too much and my game will crash, and then I'll, I will have gotten my fix, and then I just can. But I don't know how to go back to a game without CC after knowing that all of this exists. It's just like the detail that you can add into your game with custom content is so incredible to me. And maybe part of the reason why I never built before is just because it wasn't that exciting for me. There wasn't that much to add, and now I can like add an ironing board. That's so cool. It's just the realism that it adds to the game. I appreciate that so much. So I do plan on doing a no CC build, maybe this month, but probably it was scheduled for the 20th as a bonus video, but actually I got a video build request which I'm going to try out, and I'll put that up on that day instead. So I don't know if I'll get the no CC, but I mean that will kind of be like a limited CC build, because the person who asked me to do it said, okay, you can use CC, but like not too much. And also she only has a certain amount of expansion packs, so that'll be a challenge in and of itself. Yeah. That was like such a tangent. I don't even know where I am right now. But so I tried to record this voiceover earlier today, and I just didn't know what to say. I was like, I don't know what to talk about. I have voiceovers planned for a lot of the community builds that are coming out on my channel, because I can talk about things that relate to those types of lots, but there's only so much you can say about like a house. I can't really you don't want to know about my house. My house is boring. I live I still live at home. It's a very South African style house. It's pretty ugly on the outside, not architecturally, is that a word, interesting at all. So I like tried to record this, and I was like, I have nothing to talk about, so I spent the whole day trying to think about something to talk about, and I didn't even plan to tangent this much about custom content, but I guess that's good. But I did sort of think, okay, once I've talked about the build, which I pretty much have, is there anything that I haven't said? Oh, the only thing that I haven't said is that I left the landscaping for last on purpose, because I wanted to make it so wild and put a lot of trees. I didn't want it to hinder my view into the house, so I wanted to decorate the house first, and then I left the landscaping till last. But I was actually I was planning to talk about, so I don't like quiet. I like to have something on all the time. My poor dad gets so irritated. He hates how much, and he hates the cuck that sorry, cuck is a South African word for shit. Sorry, I don't mean to swear. I hope there's no young people listening. Swearing is just a word, though. Swearing really is just an indication that I don't have a big enough vocabulary. But yeah, I basically listen to cuck. my poor dad hates it, but I've been watching a lot of Gilmore Girls. I just walk around with my iPad and I just put on Gilmore Girls, and it's like the third time I've watched Gilmore Girls, so I don't really have to focus that much on it, and it's just like really nice background noise. Pretty much everything I watch is for the purposes of background noise. It's very rare that I'll sit down and watch something and concentrate fully on it. Like, there are a couple of things on Netflix that, like, Unbelievable just came out. That was awesome. I binged that on a whole day, didn't do anything else. And When They See Us, awesome. But TV and movies and stuff is a topic I'll leave for a different video. But I needed a break from Gilmore Girls, so I've been getting into podcasts a lot recently. And at first I binged Philip DeFranco's A Conversation With. I watched his one with Casey Neistat and Eddie Burback, two people that I watch on YouTube, and Dr. Mike as well. That was a really cool one. And then I watched the H3H3 podcast with Casey Neistat and Andrew Yang. Could talk about politics, that might be a whole nother video, but it's just funny that I know more about American politics than about South African politics. Like, I don't think I even know how the political system works here. I mean, I don't know that much about it in America, but I feel like I know more about the American political system than I know about my own country's political system. But it's just because, like, America's politics is like a reality TV show at the moment. But I mean, I say that, so is South Africa's politics, honestly. Like, we have some crazy ass politicians here, and anyway, I'll leave that for another video. When I eventually get around to making a city hall or something, I'll talk about politics. But yeah, I watched a podcast with Andrew Yang, which I thought was very interesting. Anyway, and then today I went and checked the Spotify podcast charts, and I like true crime. Let me know down below if you like true crime, because I recommend listening to, what is it called? Crime Junkie. So that was like number 3 on the charts. So I was like, okay, let me listen to a crime podcast. So I listened to 4 of them today. 2 like single podcasts, and then 2 parts of another podcast. Oh, it was so interesting. It was super interesting. if you like true crime and you've heard of the Darlie Routier case, let me know what you think down below, because that just like made my head explode thinking about it. So they did that, Crime Junkies covered that case in 2 parts. In the first part, they basically covered the prosecutor's side, and then in the second part they covered the defense. So you end the first part thinking, oh yeah, she definitely did it, like for sure she did it, there's no way she didn't do it. And then you get into the second part and you're like, oh, maybe she didn't actually. This could totally not have been her. This could have totally been someone who broke into the house. And so I don't know, I haven't decided yet if she did it or not. There's definitely things that I feel like her version of the story doesn't explain, but then there are also things that the prosecution's side doesn't explain either. Like I don't think the defense is totally right, I don't think the prosecution is totally right, I think there's some sort of middle ground. But then it got me philosophically thinking, like, does truth even exist? Because everybody has their own truth for sure, and their own perception, but like, could we ever get to the real truth of anything? Like, is that possible? Like, even if, I don't know, even if you had someone watch the entire situation play out, they would still have their own perception of what happened, and that wouldn't necessarily be the real truth of the matter. Sorry, that was like very deep. I apologize. But it's just something to think about. I just thought it was really interesting. So yeah, you know, if you like true crime and you haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to it, and then let me know what you think. Do you think she did it? Do you think she didn't do it? Just to give you some context, it's basically a case where a woman was sleeping downstairs with her 2 kids, and then the 2 kids ended up getting killed, and everyone thought it was the mother, even though the mother said it was an intruder. Anyway, and she was convicted, and she's actually on death row now. But obviously her defense is still working hard to prove her innocence. Yeah, I just find true crime to be fascinating. It's just because I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can do such evil things, and things that I don't understand fascinate me. It's like things that I just can't comprehend, that I can't wrap my head around. They interest me more than anything else. So that's why I enjoy true crime. It's just because I'm just trying to comprehend it, basically. Like, I'm trying to understand why there are people in the world who do stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, that was a tangent I didn't plan for. This is what happens when you don't have anything to talk about. But I promise for at least the next like 5 community lot builds, I have ideas of what to talk about. Like, for example, I have the police station build coming out on Saturday, and I'm going to talk about well, I suppose I'm going to talk about crime, but my experience of crime. I've got really one crazy, it's going to be like a story time. I've got a sort of one crazy-ish story of my almost terrible crime experience. I mean, it all worked out. It was all fine in the end, happy ending and whatever. And I'm also going to talk about South Africa a little bit. And then next week is the school build, so I'll just talk a little bit about school and education and stuff. And then I think the following week is going to be a hospital, so I'll talk about the time that I was in hospital. So there's some story times coming your way that I've planned for. I just don't know what to talk about in these like house builds, because they're like not really, they're only stylistically themed, if that makes sense. Like, I can't just talk about Bohemian stuff. I mean, maybe I could have spent time talking about the environment or something, since they're both environmentally conscious people, or Sims. They're not people, Emma. They're not people. But maybe I'll leave that for another time. Maybe I should just, like, I don't know, use these voiceovers as my own podcast and talk about current affairs or something. I think that would be really boring. If you guys have any, things, any topics that you would be interested in hearing my opinion on, I guess, you can let me know in the comments down below and I will absolutely talk about it. I am not shy about my opinions or lack thereof, and I'm also not shy about talking about personal things. I really couldn't care less about what people think about me or know about me. I mean, of course I care a little bit about what people think about me, but I'm an open book, so I will literally talk about anything. Like, really, pretty much anything. I can't think of any examples of things I won't talk about, but I'm sure there are a couple of things I just wouldn't talk about, but I'm very open. So if there's anything you want me to share, you can suggest it down below. But I'm going to stop rambling, as I do love to ramble. It's time for that to come to an end. We're pretty close to the end of the video. Just going to do the landscaping now and then the screenshots, which there are a lot of. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video very much. I really enjoyed making it, both the creating and the editing and the voiceovering and the whole process. I just absolutely love doing this. The download links are in the description down below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye!